Here's your General Hospital recap on what happened in Port Charles today, Thursday, September 11th, 2025. Britt and Jason were on a plane back to Port Charles. Jason asked her what was really happening in Croatia. She said she was working on a research project that dealt with cold fusion, but downplayed it as not a big deal. He wanted to know more, including who she was working for. When she said she only answered to Pascal and didn't know who he was working for, Jason didn't believe her and said the WSB wouldn't either. She didn't feel she had anything to worry about, but Jason told her about Jack Brennan being smart, strategic, ruthless, and relentless when he said Brennan recruited Jocelyn while being in a relationship with Carly, and annoyed Britt said she knew eventually they'd circle back to Carly. Jason warned her that Brennan would use whoever it took to get what he wanted and wouldn't think twice about screwing her over. He told her to call him if she had a problem with him. She acquiesced, but said, other than that, she wanted nothing to do with him after they stepped off the plane. Jason understood she had issues with him, but hoped, since he saved her life and got her a ticket back home, that she'd cut him a little slack. Britt felt he owed her for abandoning her to go save Carly's daughter. She said, "Your stories may change, but your priorities are always the same. All things Carly come first. Anything else is a very distant second." When Jason asked why she was so angry, she said it was because he kept acting like he was someone she could count on and turn to, but she would only get the rug yanked out from under her if she did. He said he was just trying to be her friend, but she said he was lousy at it. After more conversation, Jason told her that whatever she was hiding, she didn't have to hide it from him. Liesl ran into Rocco, Charlotte, and Outback at the Bad Gen Cafe. She was excited to see the dog and her darling grandson. Rocco reintroduced her to Charlotte, whom she'd actually spent some time with when she was younger, and Nina was married to Valentine. Liesl did admit that, technically, it wasn't accurate to say she was Rocco's grandmother, but that she would always think of Rocco as family in her heart. When Rocco and Charlotte sat, he asked her not to tell their mom about running into Liesl because Liesl was Britt's mom, and it made Lulu uncomfortable that he wanted to know more about Britt. Rocco felt it was easier not to tell his mom he wanted to know more about Britt because he didn't want to hurt her feelings. Charlotte felt the same way about bringing about her father. Liesl brought them a cupcake to share, but Outback ran out the door, so Rocco and Charlotte chased after him. Rocco came back in with blood on the side of his forehead because he ran into a tree branch. Liesl told him it was a pretty nasty cut and would need stitches. Nina went to see Lulu at her house. Seemingly being honest, Nina told Lulu that Brennan tried to recruit her to help talk her into letting Charlotte see Valentine. She said she'd never undermine Lulu or her relationship with her daughter, which Lulu really appreciated. They acknowledged they hadn't always gotten along, and both said they would leave all of that in the past. Nina said she, in no way, agreed with Brennan's tactics, but still thought Lulu should consider letting Charlotte see her dad. She advised Lulu to take control of the situation and use it to her advantage. Nina said Lulu would be the hero and not the villain if she offered Charlotte the chance to see Valentine. She said Lulu would also be part of the process, could set the limits, and possibly even be at the meeting. Lulu reiterated her worry about Charlotte reconnecting with Valentine just as she was finally settling into Port Charles. Nina, who talked to Charlotte fairly often, said their conversations were almost always about Charlotte missing her dad. Lulu had no idea because Charlotte rarely mentioned him. Rocco called to let his mom know about cutting his head and said Liesl could take him to the hospital. Lulu told him she'd meet him at the hospital. After she hung up, she asked if Nina wanted to come with her in case she needed a buffer between her and Liesl. At the Metro Court, Dante went to Jacinda's hotel room to ask her a few questions. He was surprised to find a shirtless Michael coming out of the bathroom area, zipping up his pants. Dante questioned Jacinda about the night of the shooting, who said she and Michael were at the Port Charles Grill until around 9:15 p.m. before going back to her hotel room. She said Michael left her room around 10:30 p.m. Before Dante left, he asked Jacinda to have a moment alone with his brother. Dante told Michael that he didn't believe he'd randomly hop into bed with a sex worker, but instead believed that he paid her to be his alibi. As he tried to push Michael to tell him the truth, He got a call from Lulu about Rocco and left. After Dante left, Jacinda came out and asked if Dante bought their story. Michael said he didn't, but it didn't matter, because Dante still had to report everything she said and everything he saw. He thanked her again for helping him, but she said it helped both of them have an alibi. She worried that if anyone found out that she came back to blackmail Drew, they'd try to pin the shooting on her. Michael said since neither of them could account for their whereabouts when the shooting happened, they might as well help each other out. She was worried the police would figure everything out, but Michael said they just needed to stay consistent with their story. Trina went to see her mom at her hospital office. She asked Portia if Drew was the only one who had proof of her tampering with Heather Weber's test results. She wondered if Drew would stop blackmailing her mom since she saved his life, but Portia said he didn't seem all that grateful. Portia said she'd made peace with the potential consequences of her actions and wasn't living in fear anymore. Still not telling her about destroying the evidence, Trina said she was glad to hear her mom say that and hugged her. At one of the nurses' stations, Carly asked Elizabeth what room Drew was in because she had to talk with him. As she started to walk off, Lucas stopped her and asked how many people knew she'd threatened to kill Drew. When Carly turned back to Elizabeth and said she guessed she had her to thank for Lucas knowing that, Elizabeth said he was the only one she told. Lucas didn't think it would be good for Carly to see Drew, but she said she was there to intervene on someone's behalf and was hopeful he would listen. Willow and Drew were talking in his room. He said he didn't see who shot him. Willow told him he had Tracy to thank for saving him. He said he wasn't alive because of Tracy, but that he survived because he had too much to live for. She had an uneasy look on her face when he said he had to pull through to be with her and the kids. Carly walked in while Willow was still there. Not wanting to watch the love fest any longer than she had to, she got straight to the point. Carly told Drew about Scout leaving camp and going straight to the Quartermains. She said it was clear Scout wanted to be with her brothers and Monica, and asked if she could just stay with them. When he said no, Carly asked about Scout staying with Alexis, but he said she was better off with Willow. Carly hoped he would think about his daughter for once and do what was best for her. He suggested she stop worrying about his kid and, instead, worry about her own because, if Michael hadn't been arrested for my shooting yet, he will be. Carly said Michael didn't shoot Drew, and he knew that. She said if he had any proof, Michael would have already been arrested, and there was a long line of people who wanted him dead. Drew then turned his accusations on Carly, reminding her that Elizabeth witnessed her threat to kill him. Carly told him, "If I wanted you dead, you'd be dead." She said she came there to ask him to reconsider Scout's living situation and hoped he'd do the right thing, but now considered both he and Willow beyond hope. After Carly left, Drew told her that, as far as he was concerned, Michael shot him. He said, even if Michael didn't, it played to their advantage to have him take the fall for it. Willow questioned how he planned to frame Michael and said the real killer would still be out there and could try again. He said he was willing to risk that, and when Michael was convicted of murder, her kids would go back to her, and their family would be whole again. Willow was fine with the plan and said she'd do anything to get her kids back. Dante, Lulu, and Nina were at the hospital when Rocco and Liesl arrived. Lucas took Rocco back to stitch him up. Danette and Lulu thanked Liesl for taking care of him. Britt went to the hospital from the airport. As she walked in, she stopped Elizabeth in her tracks, then turned and saw her mom, Nina, Lulu, and Dante. Curtis arrived at Anna's office at the PCPD with Martin as his lawyer. Anna felt he was being defensive, making it look like he was hiding something. Curtis said he simply wanted to protect his rights and wanted to go through the legal process correctly. During the initial questioning, Anna focused on what strained the relationship between Curtis and Drew, including what happened at Aurora and with his Aunt Stella. After some back and forth, Anna asked Curtis to clarify where he was the night of the shooting, from the time he dropped Stella off at 8:45 p.m. until he returned home after midnight. Curtis said he went to Alexis's house before going to the Savoy and then to the Brown Dog with Jordan. Anna said that would put him alone at the Savoy without anyone to corroborate his story at approximately the same time the shooting occurred. Martin reminded her that being alone wasn't a crime and it certainly didn't make Curtis guilty. Anna said it didn't. But since Curtis hated Drew and would know how to cover up a crime since he was formerly in law enforcement, it would put him at the top of the suspect list. After she left the hospital, Carly went to see Anna. She wanted to let Anna know she'd threatened to kill Drew, but said she didn't do it and had an alibi because she was with Jack Brennan. Anna said Brennan already told her, but also said he was one of the most skillful liars she knew. She told Carly she didn't trust him, and neither should Carly. Just as Carly was saying Jack would never lie to her, Jason walked up to the door. Back at the hospital, Curtis went to see Portia. He let her know he was a prime suspect without a strong alibi, but she wasn't on Anna's radar. He said until there was an arrest, they needed to behave as if they had a strong marriage and asked if she was willing to do that. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. Here is your General Hospital spoiler sneak peek video for Friday, September 12th, 2025. The Croatia story has come to a blessed close, so Jocelyn and Vaughn are back in Port Charles. And what's the first thing they do? Hop into bed, of course, because that is what Jocelyn does after every traumatic moment and adventure. However, their time between the sheets is interrupted, causing them both to draw their guns at the same time. Jack wants answers and doesn't care if he is disruptive to get them. He also doesn't like what he sees. This new agent is certainly a handful. Jason also wants answers, so Anna is forced to defend herself. Why did she not tell him that Jocelyn was in Croatia as a WSB agent? That information would have been handy to have before he walked into a dangerous situation. Jason wants to tell Carly what is going on right away. Will Anna try to talk him out of it? Liesl needs smelling salts when she sees her daughter standing before her, alive and well. Lulu and Dante stand there with their jaws on the floor, but Nina decides she has to do something. She embraces her cousin, who always has a quip. See how easy that is? She smiles. When Liesl comes to, it will be quite a moment. She thought her daughter had died in her arms thanks to Heather Weber's poison hook, and now she is right there making jokes. How can this be? Brick is back in the picture when he meets with Sonny in his money-laundering Italian restaurant. Sonny has an ultimate plan in mind to help Michael and combat Sidwell, but he needs Brick's help to put that plan into action. What is Sonny really up to? Has he finally faced the fact that Sidwell has been behind nearly every awful thing that has happened to him and his family since the start of the year, including Michael's burns? General Hospital spoilers hint that Carly Spencer may sabotage Jason Morgan and Britt Westbourne's romance. Will Carly refuse to let her BFF choose the wrong woman? Despite Jason's heroic moves in Croatia, Britt isn't ready to forgive and forget. As far as Britt's concerned, Jason is always going to put Carly and those closest to her first. That may be true, but Jason still cares about Britt and saved her life at the Five Poppies Resort. It's true that Jason took a little detour to help Jocelyn Jax first, but he still came back for Britt and rescued her in the end. Britt claims to want nothing to do with Jason now, but who is she kidding? We can all see it in Britt's eyes, that she still feels a connection to Jason, so there's going to be a magnetic pull between them in Port Charles. Of course, Carly and Britt's rivalry seems poised to explode for more reasons than one. In addition to backing up Lulu Spencer in her feud with Britt, Carly may warn Jason's former flame away from him. Despite Britt's insistence that she's moving on from Jason, Carly may sense the potential for a romantic reconnection instead. Carly has admitted to being jealous of Britt in the past, so that jealousy may flare once again. Jason and Britt will remain in each other's orbit, so there are going to be more rescues and bonding sessions. Carly may decide she has to do something, or else Britt may sink her claws into Jason too deep. The closer Jason gets to Britt, the more convinced Carly may be that she has to put a stop to this. Carly could go as far as plotting some sabotage, so she may come between Britt and Jason in the coming months. GH fans know Carly can be pretty sneaky when she wants to be, so she may do some scheming and try to ruin Jason's next chance at love. Jason already cares about Britt and may fall hard for her, but Carly could derail things if she gets her way. General Hospital spoilers say Carly will fear bad news if Jason builds a future with Britt, so we'll bring you updates on the steps she'll take to stop it. General Hospital spoilers hint that Michael Corinthos may be arrested, so he could end up behind bars when the real shooter goes after Drew Kane a second time. Drew is playing a dangerous game since he intends on making sure Michael goes down for shooting him. Whether that's true or not, Drew knows it'll work out best for the custody case if Michael is the guilty party. That's why Drew intends to have a fake memory flood and suddenly remember that Michael was the one who targeted him that night. Of course, Willow Tate pointed out that the real culprit could still be out there and try to kill Drew again. Drew assured Willow that he was willing to take that risk, so GH writers may be setting up another attempt on his life. That could be a problem for Drew if it happens while Michael is locked up. Drew has vowed that Michael's arrest is coming, so let's consider for a moment that he's right. Michael may be hauled off to the police station in handcuffs and ultimately get thrown in a holding cell. What if the actual shooter chooses that exact moment to strike Drew again? Drew could get injured once more, or at least have a close call. If another character targets Drew while Michael's in lockup, that could lead the cops to believe the real culprit is someone else. Naturally, it's possible there'll be more than one perpetrator considering how many people loathe Drew, but it could seem to Anna Devane that they've got the wrong guy. Drew's efforts to frame Michael could start to fall apart, so that could bring some challenges when it comes to the custody case he's trying to win for Willow. Bad news could be brewing as Drew scrambles to keep his promises. Since Drew's future with Willow hinges on getting Wiley Corinthos and Amelia Corinthos back, he'll have to figure something out. General Hospital spoilers say Drew's plan to take Michael down could hit some giant snags, so we'll bring you updates on any setbacks that might be brewing. Here are your General Hospital spoilers for Friday, September 12th, 2025. As expected, Liesl Obrecht is in such a state of shock at seeing her beloved Britta that she can barely stay conscious. Britt walked right into the General Hospital ER, ready to present herself to the Port Charles medical world, but did not expect to see her family standing there. Britt tries to put on a happy face as she embraces Nina, while Dante and Lulu just stare in disbelief. Rocco is right there in an exam room, so Dante and Lulu figure they may as well break the news to him now. He has wanted to know more about Britt, so now here's his chance. He can get to know her personally. With Jason back in town, Anna needs to know what was really going on in Croatia. Meanwhile, Jason sees Carly there and is unsure whether to tell her all about Jocelyn's super spy adventures. When Anna has to defend herself, does Jason also have questions? He might be curious as to why Anna didn't mention the fact that Jocelyn was a WSB agent in Croatia. Jason is pretty sure she knew when Anna sent him to find Britt. That would have been handy information to have before he walked right into a powder keg. As for Jocelyn, she and Vaughn head straight to bed as soon as they get home, but not for sleep. Instead, they pick up where they left off at the Five Poppies. When they hear someone enter their room, they both draw their guns, but it's just Jack Brennan. The WSB chief wants to know what the heck they got themselves into when they were only supposed to be scoping the place out. Does he also take them to task for getting romantically involved when that can't be good for business? How will Joss and Vaughn defend themselves? Will Jack put an end to their relationship before it really starts? General Hospital spoilers hint that Jen Sidwell may threaten Britt Westbourne and Professor Henry Hank Dalton. Will this new lab duo be forced to work together in Port Charles? Britt made it out of the Five Poppies resort alive with Jason Morgan's help, but that doesn't mean she can just walk away from the project she's been working on. Since the operation was compromised, Britt's work was backed up ahead of their move to another location. Now that Britt's going to be living in Port Charles along with Professor Dalton, she may have to move into his lab and team up with him. It's easy to imagine Sidwell summoning Britt and Professor Dalton for a meeting at some point following Britt's PC return. Sidwell could become the new Pascal for Britt and deliver the mystery boss's orders. GH fans can't forget that Britt still needs her medication doses, so those could still be used as a way to control her. Although Britt isn't impressed with Professor Dalton's progress, she may have to join forces with him and continue the next phase of their lab work. It makes sense from a writing standpoint since Emma Scorpio Drake is already digging into what Professor Dalton is doing. Emma plans on a lab break-in at some point and hopes to take Professor Dalton down in the process. Since Emma has always hated Britt's guts, she'd be happy to take her down too. Of course, Emma doesn't realize what she's getting herself into here since she's so focused on illegal animal testing. This project is so much bigger than that and could put Emma in grave danger. If Britt ends up having to rescue Emma from the trouble she's about to land in, maybe that could soften Emma a bit. Emma won't be pleased when she gets updates on Britt's survival, but things could change if Britt saves her from a life-threatening situation. General Hospital spoilers say Emma will face some shocking news and risky drama in the coming episodes, so stay tuned. Say it isn't so. General Hospital star Kirsten Storms seems to be off the grid, but it might not be exactly what you are thinking. Keep reading below for everything you need to know. For those who have been following her throughout the years, they know that Kirsten is the kind of person who loves reaching out to her fans on social media and sharing pics of her behind-the-scenes life. However, her social media followers noticed that Kirsten has stopped posting ever since she announced that she was moving to Tennessee from Los Angeles. Now, this doesn't mean that Kirsten has quit her role on General Hospital. She has explained that General Hospital executive producer Frank Valentini is retaining her character and giving her the flexibility to come back when the time is right. However, for some of Kirsten's fans, she seems to be a little too quiet. For someone who is always in the spotlight, it appears as though she wants to live a very private life in Tennessee and will only go back to being the public figure that she is the moment she returns to Los Angeles. Or at least, that's what fans are hoping for. Either way, some of her biggest fans are hoping for some sort of sign of life. They miss her both on social media and, of course, on the canvas. Kirsten suggested that she might be back on General Hospital by the end of the year. Fingers crossed. So far, Kirsten Storms herself has not made any comments about the matter just yet, but we will definitely update you with all of the latest details the moment they come in. For now, fans will simply have to tune in each and every day to find out what will happen next. General Hospital airs weekdays on the ABC network. Check your local listings for times. In the meantime, let us know what you think by leaving us a line with your thoughts in our comments section below. General Hospital spoilers for September 11th, 2025. Promise explosive drama as Michael's arrest nears. Jason presses Britt for answers, and Nina makes a bold move with Lulu. Meanwhile, Carly faces tough questions while Drew remains determined to see justice served. At General Hospital, Drew grows more certain that Michael's arrest is inevitable. He warns Carly and Willow that the authorities will soon target Michael. Drew insists that evidence will not be needed because suspicion alone is enough to bring Michael down. His words leave Carly shaken as she scrambles to protect her son. Willow struggles as well, knowing Drew is right about the danger Michael faces. Drew's persistence makes it clear he won't stop until justice is served. Michael's shooting incident continues to haunt every member of the Corinthos family. Meanwhile, Dante demands the full truth from his brother. He questions Michael about whether he was with Jacinda during the night Drew was shot. Michael clings to his story, claiming he went straight home after the bar. Yet Dante remains doubtful, pointing out that Michael had plenty of time to make other stops. Michael's shaky defense raises more suspicions, leaving Dante caught between duty as a cop and loyalty as a brother. The pressure on Michael builds to a dangerous level. On the plane back to Port Charles, Jason seizes an opportunity with Britt. He urges her to reveal the truth she's hiding. Britt remains evasive, but Jason assures her that she can trust him. Although Britt refuses to fully open up, her return will cause an immediate stir in Port Charles. Dante may even spot her, leaving him stunned and struggling to process what he sees. Britt's arrival promises to shake the balance of power in ways no one expects. Elsewhere, Nina continues working with Brennan's agenda. She approaches Lulu with surprising advice, urging her to use Charlotte's situation to her advantage. Nina insists Lulu can gain control by negotiating visitation terms with Valentine. Though Lulu would usually dismiss Nina's interference, she may listen this time. Nina's influence plants seeds of strategy, forcing Lulu to consider a manipulative path she rarely takes. Charlotte's relationship with Valentine could soon hang in the balance. Back in Port Charles, Carly deals with an uncomfortable confrontation. Lucas questions her after overhearing Elizabeth discuss threats Carly made against Drew. He wonders if Carly really could have pulled the trigger. Carly quickly points to Brennan's alibi, insisting she would never harm Drew. Yet Lucas remains uneasy. Knowing Carly has been pushed to extremes before, Carly's bigger worry, however, is still Michael. With Drew determined to see him punished, Carly fears her son's downfall is inevitable. General Hospital spoilers for September 11, 2025, reveal a storm of secrets, suspicions, and shocking returns. Michael's fate hangs by a thread, Jason inches closer to Britt's truth, and Nina manipulates Lulu into a risky choice. Don't miss Thursday's episode, only on General Hospital. For more updates, keep following Soap Opera Daily. Port Charles, NY. The stunning return of Dr. Britt Westbourne from the dead has sent shockwaves through Port Charles. But nowhere has the impact been more profound than within the Spencer Falconeri family. What began as a moment of overwhelming joy for teenager Rocco Falconeri upon learning his birth mother was alive has rapidly devolved into a heart-wrenching family crisis, threatening to shatter the life he has always known. Rocco's world was first upended weeks ago when he discovered the truth. He was not born to Lulu Spencer, but to Britt Westbourne. For a young man already grappling with abandonment issues after Lulu's years-long coma, the news was a seismic shock. When Jason Morgan's daring rescue mission brought a very much alive Britt back to town, Rocco's curiosity transformed into a desperate hope to finally meet the woman who gave him life. That hope, however, has become the catalyst for a bitter conflict. The pivotal moment came when Rocco confronted Britt, seeking answers about their past. In a raw, emotional confession, Britt revealed that she never wanted to give him up. She recounted how a desperate Lulu Spencer pressured her into relinquishing her parental rights, painting a picture not of abandonment, but of a forced separation. For Rocco, this truth was devastating. His resentment toward Lulu, already simmering due to her singular focus on finding Charlotte Cassadine since waking from her coma, crystallized into a feeling of profound betrayal. "All these years, I thought my birth mother had just thrown me away," an emotional Rocco confessed to Britt. But it wasn't true. As Rocco's anger toward Lulu grows, a beautiful and powerful bond has begun to form between him and Britt. He has found a parent who sees him, understands him, and is focused solely on him. Their quiet moments together have allowed a natural mother-son connection to flourish, fulfilling a maternal instinct Britt thought she had lost forever. Watching her son slip away, Lulu's desperation has reached a boiling point. Her attempts to forbid Rocco from seeing Britt have only backfired, pushing him further into his birth mother's arms. "At least Britt cares about me," he lashed out during one heated argument, accusing Lulu of casting him aside for Charlotte. Driven by fear and jealousy, Lulu is now on a dangerous path. Convinced she must protect her family, she has begun formulating a plan to drive Britt out of Port Charles for good. Using her knowledge of the town's inner workings, she is preparing to wage a ruthless campaign of professional sabotage and social ostracism to make Dr. Westbourne's life untenable. The battle lines have been drawn, forcing Dante to navigate the impossible middle ground between his ex-wife and his son's newfound happiness. The tragedy lies in the misunderstanding. Lulu's panic blinds her to the fact that love is not a zero-sum game. As she prepares for war, the question hangs heavy over Port Charles. Can this fractured family find a way to coexist, or will one mother's desperate actions destroy any chance of peace for the young man they both love? The halls of General Hospital are still echoing with the aftershocks of one of the most stunning returns in Port Charles history. Jason Morgan's daring rescue mission in Croatia brought Dr. Britt Westbourne back from the dead, but her miraculous reappearance has uncorked a torrent of secrets that threatens to unravel the very fabric of the community. What should have been a joyous reunion has quickly devolved into a nightmare for the Falconeri family. Britt's return has forced a devastating truth into the open. She is the biological mother of young Rocco Falconeri, having carried the embryo stolen from Dante and Lulu years ago. The carefully constructed life they built for their son now teeters on the brink as they are forced to confront the bizarre and painful circumstances of his birth, with a living, breathing Britt Westbourne right in front of them. However, the secret of Rocco's parentage is not the only bombshell Jason brought back from Europe. During his mission, he uncovered a truth far more dangerous, one that will devastate the woman he considers family. Jason learned that Jocelyn Jacks, daughter of Carly Spencer, has been living a secret life as a clandestine WSB agent, recruited and manipulated by none other than Jack Brennan, the very man romancing her mother. Brennan used his power to cover up Jocelyn's killing of Cyrus Renault, in self-defense, leveraging the incident to force her into a world of espionage. While Carly believed her daughter was grieving and healing, Jocelyn was risking her life on perilous missions, nearly dying in a firefight in Croatia. Jason now carries the heavy burden of this knowledge, preparing to tell Carly that the man she trusts has been systematically endangering her child. The inevitable confrontation promises to be explosive. Carly Spencer, fiercely protective of her children, is about to learn of Brennan's ultimate betrayal. Her relationship, built on a foundation of perceived trust, will undoubtedly crumble when she discovers he used her love as a shield while treating her daughter as an expendable asset. As Brennan's world is poised to implode, a new and intriguing possibility is emerging from the shadows. Spoilers suggest that in the wake of his spectacular fallout with Carly, Brennan may find an unexpected connection with her arch-nemesis, Nina Reeves. The two have already formed a tentative, transactional alliance, with Brennan offering WSB assistance in the brewing Drew Kane investigation in exchange for Nina's help. With Brennan soon to be cast out by Carly, he may seek solace with Nina, a resilient woman no stranger to complicated men. This pairing would not only create a powerful new couple in Port Charles, but would also pour gasoline on the smoldering embers of the iconic Carly-Nina feud. One thing is certain, the fallout from these revelations is just beginning, and no relationship is safe. The Britch is officially back in Port Charles, and this time, her fans might actually outweigh her enemies after the September 11th episode of General Hospital. Talk about being in the right place at the right time! The hospital was in full swing, Nina and Liesl, Dante and Lulu, Elizabeth running around as head nurse. It all fell into place for a presumed dead Brit to walk through those doors of GH. The first person to spot the former chief of staff was Elizabeth, whose shock got the attention of everyone else. Lulu immediately confronted Brit, about to state the obvious, saying, "You're supposed to be..." In true Brit fashion, she cut Lulu off to ensure her she is not dead, and she is indeed back, prompting Liesl to faint into Nina's arms. The dramatic but comedic scenes felt reminiscent to hospital antics of GH's past. Obrecht's reaction to her daughter's arrival did answer a question many fans have asked over the summer. Her grief over her daughter's death was real, and she clearly didn't know Brit was alive. While we wait to see the repercussions of Jason coming to Brit's rescue, we'll also see the fallout for Rocco after General Hospital spoilers for September 12th tease Dante and Lulu breaking the news. Do you think Rocco will fight to get to know the woman who gave birth to him? Let us know in the comments section. Read what's coming up in Port Charles, September 8-12. Here's what's happening this fall on GH. Soap Hub says delivers your dose of soap scandals and shockers. Rick Lansing's captivity underscores the evolution of a character who has long thrived on deception, but can no longer escape his past. For years, Rick has been one of General Hospital's most slippery villains, weaving lies, manipulating the people closest to him, and constantly testing the limits of redemption. Lately, however, Rick's schemes have caught up with him in the most ironic of ways, being held captive in Alexis's basement. Once cunning, the shady attorney is now facing humiliation, with payback that's been a long time coming since he once held a pregnant Carly prisoner. Rick Hurst recently reflected on Rick's journey and explained how this new go-round with Rick has allowed him to add more depth to his character. First of all, playing the character is such an incredible challenge, Hurst told Digital Journal, noting how much mystery surrounded Rick when he first appeared. The revelation that Rick was Sonny's half-brother changed everything, allowing writers to explore endless directions for the character. Hurst emphasized that Rick has never been one note. Rick is not just the villain. Rick is the guy you love to hate at times. Somewhere deep in that fractured psyche of his, there is actually a heart. Hurst also admitted that reprising the role in recent years has been especially rewarding because the character now has layers beyond the detestable, at times irredeemable edge that he had in the previous inception. The writers have given him a cynical, even comedic quality that balances Rick's darker impulses. That balance, he said, has been highlighted in his interactions with Ava, Elizabeth, Alexis, and most importantly, Rick's daughter, Molly. For Hurst, that paternal connection is the most satisfying part of his return. That's really the heart of who he is, and it has been fulfilling to play with this quality, coming back now, he shared. The actor felt that the reason viewers respond positively to his character is that Rick has continued to explore his complicated relationships while maintaining his scheming tendencies. Also next on GH, Anna defends herself. Elizabeth cautions Lucas, and Brennan wants answers. In addition to Dante and Lulu breaking big news, General Hospital spoilers for Friday, September 12, 2025, will also focus on Sonny revealing his plan. Dante and Lulu haven't had much opportunity to interact lately. They have been busy. Dante is on a major case trying to find out who shot Drew Kane. When Lulu isn't reporting on this crime against Drew, she is trying to figure out how not to give in to Brennan's request. She doesn't want Charlotte to go visit her dad in Switzerland, where Steinmauer is located. But now Britt is alive and has returned to Port Charles. According to Friday's teasers, Dante and Lulu break big news. So maybe it has something to do with the woman who gave birth to their son being back in their lives. They probably want to be the ones to tell Rocco before he runs into Britt by chance. Meanwhile, Sonny reveals his plan. What does he hope to accomplish here? He has people coming for him from every angle. For instance, this plan could be a way to deal with his Sidwell problem. There's also the fact that Judge Heron is dead, and he will likely be implicated in at least bribing her into awarding Michael full custody of Wiley and Amelia. After all, Drew intended to ensure that Sonny was suspected of the payoff. So many problems, so little time. Whatever this plan involves, Sonny will need to act quickly. In other news, Anna is forced to defend herself. This attempted murder investigation is bound to ruffle feathers. People are sensitive when it comes to being accused of shooting someone. Or there's also the very real possibility that Jason figures out Anna knew about Joss being WSB and didn't tell him or anyone. She would have to defend her actions. Brennan made sure she kept quiet and played the treason card. Speaking of Brennan, he wants answers. Hopefully, he catches up to Joss and Vaughn and wants to find out how everything turned disastrous in Croatia. Finally, Elizabeth cautions Lucas, who doesn't appreciate the fact that Elizabeth could throw suspicion on Carly in Drew's shooting. Does he hound his pal about this one more time, and she cautions him to back off? Or is this about something else entirely? Rarely does a recast win over fans in their first scenes, but that is exactly what Rory Gibson did when he joined the cast of General Hospital, taking over the role of Michael Corinthos from Chad Duell. Gibson came in like gangbusters and has been delivering such nuanced work. He first caught the attention of daytime audiences when he joined the cast of The Young and the Restless back in October of 2021. Check out the 5 fast facts below to learn more about the popular actor. Rory Gibson has quickly made his mark on General Hospital as Michael, but there's much more to the actor than his current role in Port Charles. From navigating intense storylines, like custody battles, and being a suspect in Drew's attempted murder, to a career filled with versatility and personal challenges that nearly left him homeless, Gibson's journey is full of surprising twists fans may not know. Gibson was born in Long Beach, California, and spent his childhood dividing his time between Bakersfield and San Pedro. Splitting life between 2 cities and 2 households gave him a well-rounded upbringing, filled with different experiences and perspectives. His late father, Gary Gibson, was a professional football player. GH is actually Gibson's second soap role. Soap fans know Gibson best for his role as Noah Newman, son of the legendary super couple Nick and Sharon, on The Young and the Restless. He joined the cast in 2021 and played the role until 2023, leaving a lasting impression on Genoa City and the show's loyal viewers. Away from the spotlight, Gibson's personal life is just as heartwarming. He became engaged in 2022 to his high school sweetheart, Alicia Ruelas, whom he met when he was only 16. The two have been inseparable ever since. Gibson is also a passionate dog lover, often sharing his love for animals alongside his relationship milestones. In an interview on his co-star Maurice Benard's podcast, State of Mind, Gibson opened up about nearly becoming homeless during the Hollywood strikes. While his fiancée's modeling work dried up and calls from Y&R stopped, the couple found themselves couch surfing for almost a year. Despite these hardships, Gibson leaned on his resilience, faith, and determination, continuing to audition and chase his dream. His honesty about this chapter has inspired fans who admire his perseverance. A lifelong movie fan, Gibson made the bold choice to leave college and fully pursue acting. He landed early roles in TV movies such as A Night to Regret and Twisted Twin, which helped build his resume. His film career picked up steam with a role in Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon, Part 1, A Child of Fire, and he is set to star next in the upcoming sci-fi film Fugitive from Asteron. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you!